You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from NVDA to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back with your Hot Options Report for Thursday, October 9th. Hope you're having a good trading week out there. My name, of course, Mark Longo from the optionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks are binging these days. Remind you at the top of the show here, make sure you subscribe to the full network wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And of course, if you're ready to go above and beyond, the optionsinsider.com/pro. Awesome exclusives, got a free alpha access to an awesome analytics. If you like this stuff, the Pro was really your huckleberry this week. Awesome access to that stuff over there, as well as, of course, early access to unusual activity research, you name it. A lot of great stuff coming at the Pro these days, as well as options oddities, giveaways, live streams, all sorts of fun. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go. Now, if you're listening to this show, chances are that you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees, whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades. Every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Again, the Hot Options Report brought to you by Public. Full disclosures in the podcast description. All right, let's get down to business. Let's kick things off in VIX land, shall we? Was VIX looking hot today? The answer was looking a little bit more respectable. Still struggling to meet that lower ADV. Right around 695 is the ADV in VIX land right now, putting up 591,000 contracts today. So coming in over 100K light. VIX cash closing 1643 out there today, listeners. So kind of vacillating around that 16 half strike for a while, and it's been pretty much hanging out there again today. The hot option out there in VIX land, 38,000 of the October 22 calls. Average price for those, about 46 cents. In fact, I thought that was an interesting option, so we put it out to you folks. Are you a fan of those? Would you rather buy those or sell them right now? And as of right now, 80% of you want to buy those for 46 cents. So maybe you like those out there, listeners. OCT22s in VIX. Either way, we keep on rolling out to SPY. Was it a hot day in SPY? The answer was most decidedly yes. 9.28 million contracts on the tape for SPY. That's against an ADV of about 8.37 million. So a hot day in SPY, listeners. Nearly a million contracts on top of an already hot ADV. What was the hot option on a hot day in SPY? Man, these numbers are crazy. 703,000 of the 670 puts. Again, that's just the 670 put in SPY. That is more paper than you're going to see in a lot of other options products in their entirety. Just in one put in SPY today. That is wild. Average price for those, 54 cents. You know the deal. If you bought them for that average price and you rode them all the way through the close, not exactly a winner chicken dinner for you. A little bit of a rally towards the end of the session. Kind of hurting those puts. As we keep on rolling out to the S, listeners, was it a hot day in the S? It was about average. We're averaging right around 4.25 million contracts. It was about 4.2 million changing hands in the SPX today. The SPX given up about almost 1/3%, even though it was trending lower earlier in the session. The hot option in the SPX today, 165,000 of the 6720 puts. Average price for these, $3.76. Looks like maybe a bit of a bridge too far. The cash closing 67.35.11, listeners. As we keep on rolling out to small caps, 245.13 is where the small caps closed, off about 2/3% today. putting up 1.16 million contracts. If that sounds a little light, because it is, the ADV is about 1.6 million. The hot option out there, 90,000 of the 245 puts right at the strike, listeners. The average price for these, 39 cents. So you know the deal. Same thing. A little bit of rally at the end of the day. Looks like it probably hurt these as well. As we keep on rolling out to the Qs putting up about 4.1 million contracts. A little light. The ADV is 4.3 million. The Qs closing almost unched on the day. That ended up about 0.13% to the downside. So after selling off quite a bit, Qs managing to buck the trend out there, only really selling off about 0.13%. Closing today, 610.70 in the Qs. The hot option out there, 313,000 of these 609 puts. So once again, a little bit of a bridge too far, maybe scooping those earlier in the session. Average price for those about 76 cents. Doesn't look like that was a great trade, as the kids say, if you held them through the close. But you know what, listeners? Let's dive on into the single names. Let's see what was lighting it up out there. Was it a hot day in single name land? The answer was it was respectable. Not quite threatening a million contracts today. More like half that. 565 is what it cost you to break into the top 10 today. That gets us to our old pal, the monster, a.k.a. MicroStrategy, a.k.a. Strategy, closing today 320.29. Once again, they're coming for it, selling off about $10.50 or a little over 3% out there today. The hot option in Strategy today, 18,000, so kind of light. 18,000 of the 347 half calls. Now, thank goodness these are not expiring this week. These are expiring in the monthly expiration cycle. So these are expiring on the 17th, listeners. So you got an extra week and a day on these bad boys, because if they were expiring tomorrow, 347 and a half, that's a bit of a rough road. Can we get there, listeners? 27 handles and change by the end of next week. I mean, Strategy has moved a lot before, but that does seem like a pretty impressive move. We'll keep an eye on it as we keep on rolling to number 9. A name we're keeping an eye on a lot these days on this show. It's our old pal Open, closing today $8.14, selling off about 35 cents or about a little over 4%, putting up 642,000 contracts today. The hot option out there, 66,000 of the 9s. Once again, upside, this time going up for an average price of about 11 cents. Now, there is open interest on this strike, so good chance some folks are getting the heck out of Dodge on these, dumping them for whatever's left, in this case, about 11 cents. But we shall see tomorrow where Open closes for the week as we keep on rolling out to a newcomer in the top 10. Been a while since we talked about this name. This is Tilray. Popping hard today, closing $2.10, up about 22% or nearly 40 cents. So a good day for them. They were a hot name 4 years ago or so, back in the meme stock go-go 2021 days. Kind of haven't been on our radar in a while, but back again today. Good earnings, apparently, putting up 661,000 contracts. Today, the hot option in Tilray today, you know it's upside, you know it's expiring tomorrow. Just a question of what it is, and the answer was it's the 2s. 88,000 of the 2 calls, now in the money calls. Average price for these, 17 cents. These are looking decent out there, even though you need to continue that run. Tilray did get as high as $2.32, so that obviously makes those 17-cent prices a little bit more palatable. As we keep on rolling to number 7, it's Intel, closing today $37.80, up about 37 cents or nearly 1% out there today. So they're continuing their slow crawl, putting up 689,000 contracts. We've been talking for a while about the OCC 40s expiring tomorrow. That seems like a bit of a bridge too far right now if you had the 40 strike. Unless we see a big move in Intel tomorrow. It doesn't seem like those are going to pay off, which is probably why today's hot option is about 51,000. Of the 37 halves, 30 cents in the money, a little bit more manageable. Average price for those today, 72 cents. We'll keep an eye on Intel tomorrow as well as we keep on rolling to number 6. It's our old pal Palantir, closing today 185.45, gaining back about $2 today after some wild sessions earlier this week. 791,000 contracts on the tape for them. The hot option, about 51,000 of the 190 calls. Average price for these, 83 cents. So Palantir needs to get in gear. Now, worth noting, it did get as high as 187.62 today, so maybe that makes those 190s for about 83 cents a little bit more palatable to you. Either way, Palantir needs to get in gear by tomorrow's close if you want those 190s to pay off. As we keep on rolling to number 5, it's Apple. Giving back a little bit today, closing right around 254, almost exactly, off about $4 or about 1.5%. So bit of a sell-off, bit of a red day for Apple. Apple putting up 925,000 contracts on the tape out there today, listeners. And what was the hot option in Apple today, listeners? It was about 70,000 of the 260s. Average price for these, 24 cents. Those are looking kind of rough, listeners. Now, the stock opened right around 258, so maybe those make a little bit more sense at that level. 24 cents for those now. That seems like a bit of a bridge too far, but we shall see. Can Apple rally $6 by tomorrow? This was opening paper as well, so it wasn't people getting the heck out of Dodge. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Apple. It seems like a bit of a Herculean move for Apple in one day, but we'll keep an eye on it as we keep on rolling to number 4. It's the Amazonians, closing today right around 227 and 3/4, gaining about $2.50, a little over 1%. Decently active day. 970,000 contracts, threatening a million contracts. The hot option out there today, 92,000 of the 225s. This is interesting. In the money call. Average price for these about $1.60. And you can do the math, listeners. They closed worth at least $2.74 out there intrinsically. So not a bad do. As the kids say, the high was $228.21, so they were looking even better earlier today, listeners. So interesting. In the money calls, looking pretty good today in Amazon. Let's keep the A tech train going, shall we? Number 3, AMD, 232.89 is where the stock closed, selling off about 2 2/3, about 1.13%, putting up 1.6 million contracts today. The hot option out there, 110,000 of the 240s. Average price for these, $258. Another one that looks kind of rough. Now, before you go crazy, the stock rallied as high as $240 and a dime today. So these were actually 10 cents in the money earlier this morning, which makes that $2.58 price maybe seem a little bit better. That said, in hindsight, obviously, that's a dumpster fire. That's a long way for AMD to go tomorrow if you want to pay these bad boys off. That was opening paper, unfortunately. So we'll keep an eye on those. If you sold them, you're looking pretty good right now as we keep on rolling. To number 2, it's Tesla, putting up 2.1 million contracts out there today, listeners. So a pretty active day for Tesla. Tesla giving up about $3 or closing right around 435.5. So in the annals of Tesla, not a huge net move out there. Did have about a $10 range, though, on the day. So bear that in mind. The hot option out there, 112,000 of the 430 puts. That's interesting. It's been a while since we've seen puts dominating the tape in Tesla out there. Usually it's been 420s, 430s, 440 calls, and even 450 calls recently. So maybe a bit of a tonal shift out here. 430 puts. Average price for these, $5.13. Now that one looks kind of rough right now. Closing, like we said, right around 435.5. But that said, we did sell off as low as 426.18 today. So that clearly is when the lion's share of those 430 puts went up. Looking kind of rough, but then again, we have one more day to go as we keep on rolling to the number 1 spot out there today, listeners. You know what it is. It's NVIDIA. 192.5 is where the stock went out, putting up nearly 3.7 million contracts. Hot day for NVIDIA. That price level may sound pretty hot as well. That's because it's pretty much a new all-time high today, listeners. Got as high as 195.30. That is now your new all-time high for NVIDIA. Whenever it hits those, usually tends to drive some flow out there, and that is the case. The hot option in NVIDIA today, listeners, 372,000 of the 195 calls. Average price for these, $1.34. They were looking a lot better when we were hanging out at the all-time high, retreating off that a bit towards the end of the session, listeners. So not looking quite as good right now. Can we get back there, 195 plus $1.34 by tomorrow's close? We'll keep an eye on it, listeners. That's why you have to tune in tomorrow for all of our shows, including Volatility Views, kicking things off on our broadcast day tomorrow. Then we come back exclusively for our pro members, theoptionsinsider.com/pro, where we break down all of the week's worth of unusual activity for options oddities. Before we wrap it up for everybody, one final time for the week for your Friday edition of the Hot Options Report. We'll see you then. And oh yeah, stay safe out there.
Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.